Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Wuthering Heights, directed by Emerald Fennell. So this film has come in for quite a lot of criticism. There's many people who don't like Fennell's interpretation of this kind of classic book. So this film starts off looking like a period drama, but at times it kind of bursts into contemporary aspects, and at times it does have a modern energy. The music is quite modern in parts, and Margot Robbie even is wearing modern sunglasses at one point. Now, in advance of seeing this film, I read the novel, which obviously is a lot more complex really than any interpretation of it can be. This is often the case with films of the book, that there's so much more in the book. If I just make a quick comment about the book, I didn't find that an easy read. I find it quite long and drawn out. I would say I enjoyed it. It is an authentic world, and they felt like real characters. There's a lot I could say about the book, but I'm not going to say it. It did just set me up to watch the film though, because I knew exactly what the book was about. So as I say, Fennell is coming for a lot of criticism because she does take a lot of liberties in her film. It doesn't feel like it's the same story. It's her version of Wuthering Heights. I've no problem with this in principle. I think it can be the case that a reinterpretation is a creative interpretation can be interesting. Recently, the Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, I think, is an excellent kind of retelling of the Frankenstein story. But so my problem with this film isn't that it took liberties in interpreting the book. My problem with it is that it's really not successful in doing that. There's a number of issues. First, let's deal with the issue of race. There's a lot of controversy around Heathcliff in this film because the book does clearly describe Heathcliff as dark-skinned and gypsy. I don't see a problem in Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. He looked gypsy-like, and I don't feel hooked up on that. I don't think it's actually clear, 100% clear, that Heathcliff is a black person. So, I can forgive her interpretation for using Jacob Elordi. What I am a bit uncertain about is her use of some of the other actors. There's colourblind casting. So some of the Nellie, the servant, the maid, she's played by an Asian actor, and Edgar is played by a Pakistani. And I have no problem with this at all, but I just think, is it really necessary? And if you're going to bring in a mixed cast into the film, why not do it for Heathcliff, given that there is this question over what race is actually Heathcliff is. In the Andrea Arnold version of 2011, Heathcliff is a black man, and it's unambiguous. Another issue I had is, why is Kathy so posh if she lives in Yorkshire? I do think the acting was good in this film. I felt Jacob Elordi was a really good Heathcliff. I always like Margot Robbie, and she's fine in this film, but I didn't quite feel that she was the character from the book. The book it has a dour gothic tone. It's bleak and rainy, and Fennell's film, it's very sensual. It's got scenes with red lush dresses and velvet walls. Edgar's house is like a palace. I'm not sure that this is what the book described. There's a point at which there's kind of a Gone with the Wind orange sky. It's all very stylish. It all looks good. but it doesn't feel like Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. It's definitely glossy. It's very stylish. It feels a bit superficial. It's so different than this damp, moody Heath that we get in the book. There are some abstract elements thrown in at the end, the blood and the slugs in one of those final scenes, but it does feel quite staged, and there's a strange image of these hand sculptures over the fireplace. There is more quirkiness in this film, but it all felt a bit superficial. To be honest, it looks a bit like a magazine shoot rather than a gothic horror. There's much more sex in Fennell's version than in the book. Actually, Cathy and Heathcliff do not have sex in the book. The film is much more sentimental. She's made it much more of a love story and a sex story. I've no problem with this in principle, but it is a big change. And if you're going to do it, you need to do it well. And I just don't think it does do it well. In the end, this feels like fan fiction. It feels like someone who's enthusiastic about a book has taken the characters and kind of reimagined, rewritten their fantasy around it. The sex scenes are where Fennell imagined the book could go. I think particularly with the relations between Isabella and Heathcliff and the BDSM aspects of the film, this is very different than the book. There's no energy of this type in the book, I think. And it's kind of playing with the characters. I just didn't find it an interesting interpretation as a standalone film. The book is not a love story. For me, it's a study of destructive and emotionally immature relationships. It's a story that explores the consequences of toxic attachment rather than ever really celebrating romantic love. In interviews, I've seen Fennell say that she read the book when she was 14 and kind of using her subjective memory, she wanted to reproduce the experience of reading the book as a 14-year-old. I must say I wasn't really convinced by this. What's the purpose of doing that? It's more interesting to see how she interprets it now. I think when you compare this to Andrea Arnold's 2011 version, I much preferred that. It is much more faithful to the book. It's less glamorous, it's less lush. There is more emphasis on the heath. You feel the damp heather in the Arnold film. You feel the heath as a kind of natural phenomenon, a character in the book. Emerald Fennell does seem to receive a lot of hate. I quite like her work. I enjoyed Promising Young Woman and Saltburn. I think this is her least successful film so far. But overall, I thought it was okay. It's long. It's 2¼ hours and that felt too long. It does look good. It creates a certain mood, but I would say read the book or watch the Andrea Arnold version. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.